to another Glorious Reads. I am your host, Aspen Sage. Let's get into it. First off, I hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. Happy Saturday. I know right now around my area there's some Renaissance fairs going on. It's getting cold. Fair season's in the play. I am very excited. I like fairs. I like agricultural fairs mostly. I like to see the little vendors and all those small authors out there producing their books and showing the public, and I get to chat with them a little bit, so that is awesome. But it is getting cold here. The leaves are starting to change, kind of thing, and it's really early in the season because usually we don't get that until like September, late September, August. It's like late September, October. I can't get my words right today, apparently. But regardless, it is nice. I like the cold weather more than I do the heat. It's been a cool summer, and I'm very thankful for it. And so, yeah, I can't wait for cozy socks and sweatshirts and bundling up in blankets and sitting with a good book. I know other people feel the same. So let's get into it. This review is actually one of the series that I started reading and I had to wait for the next book to come up. And that's Made It to the King's Gamma by Jessica Hall. So this is like the third book to the previous books I read. This is also a spin-off series from the Lycan Luna series. So I'm excited about reading this one because it's the end of, I guess, the series itself. I'm not quite sure. I think there could be a fourth book definitely written with this, but it's not. So the previous books I read, being claimed by the King's Gamma and all that, I was a little disappointed because there was a lot more previous reads of the previous books from the Lego Lunacies because it does intertwine. What I'm fine with, I don't mind books overlapping a little bit. The first two were a little disappointing. This one, however, still has it, but not too much. And it was nice because you get more details between Gammon and Abbie. Of course, you have your favorite characters like mine, Liam and Dustin. You have Azealia, and you have King Kyson, and all the other little side characters. You got Damien, and of course his new mate as well. This book was actually really more nice. It's more of a self-healing book, and I love that. Not to the level of like when I was talking about Nestia and Cassian level healing of self-hate. Abbie has a lot of scars, and so does Damien in his own way. But Abbie's is more personal and actually hurtful scars. A lot of abuse, a lot of assault in ways that damaged her mostly mentally and physically. Damien is more how he was kind of grew up a little bit, but also his mate's betrayal. In this book, it does also talk a little bit more about Tyson, who is the adopted son of Abbie's. There's also other children involved. But I love how this book grows. And I think Damien, even though his true mate was actually Sai, what was Abbie's cousin or aunt, correction, she is definitely a better fit for Damien. I mean, it's obvious because he's tried so hard to make it better. Of course, there's more skits with Liam, and I love Liam so much. He's just so unhinged, but yet he's such a goofball. Every time I read a section of his book where he cracks a joke or something, it makes me go, yep, that is a total Liam thing. You also hear how actually Liam was able to sneak blood into Abbie's food and drinks to basically, thankfully, save her life and change her into a Lycan. So this book is definitely way better than the previous two, where it was more like a recap thing. This one continues. And I do love the end of the book, because the end of the book doesn't actually involve, like, Damien and Abbie, like, marriage. They do come into a claiming kind of thing, but it was more, the wedding between Liam and Dustin. And I love it, because, like, Liam was actually scared and sober for Dustin, and, like, it was hilarious to see. I love it. I definitely rate this book a 4 out of 5. And the spice level, it's like a 3 out of 5. It's not very big. It's very light. There's only a couple scenes where they're spicy. Most of it, like I said, is a battle of overcoming fears and traumas and stuff like that. You also get more depth of Abbie's story and what happened to her as a child, and not as much as what happened from Cade's point of view, that is in the previous books. And you even get more in depth on how she found out about Sai and how Gammon and Lycan murdered her, and how she was working with the hunters and stuff. So there are more depths and details of behind the castle scene with these characters that weren't portrayed in the Lycan books or the Lycan Luna series with King Tyson's and Azalea's fate. So these books are good. This one in particular, like I said before, it's a lot of more self-growth, and it's more about Damien and Abbie coming together. And you still get Liam, like I said, helping out where he's not supposed to, but he does. But this book also still left questions unanswered, especially where after the war kind of thing, Abbie sees her dead grandmother, and she knows that she's dead. And Damien's like, yeah, you know that she's gone because we killed her. But then you have Liam in the background, like, oh crap, like because you read his book. He used to give her medication with his blood in it to help her fight her illness. So there's a possibility still that Abbie's grandmother is still alive, or she's now a Lycan, one of the two. So that answer has not been answered in this book. Maybe there's others. I kind of hope there's more of a Dustin and Liam book. Like I said, there was a wedding, and it's hilarious, especially what Dustin does for Liam. It's amazing how this book is written. Jessica Hall does a fantastic job. I also want to see maybe in the next book if there is going to be more growth between Tyson and Azalea. I really hoping that Jessica Hall writes a book about Damien and Pansy, who's his mate. Because I would like more of a story on them, and I really want to see just a book that's on Liam and Dustin. Not so much the past thing. And of course, in this book, in front of Abbie and Azalea, that Liam claims Dustin marks him to be bound to him. It's a whole fiasco. Like I said, even the brotherhood between Liam and Damien is really more in depth in this book, I think. So it's definitely one of the top reads I've done, but it's not like, oh my god, I want to read it again. I kind of pretty much know the story. I just hope that there's another book to entwine more. But like I said, it's a 4 out of 5 for me, and spice level's a 3 because there's only a few times I've gotten into Mint. More so when Abbie goes into heat. But this book is really good, and I'm glad that even though in the first book or the first series I read through the Lycan series, Azalea helps Abbie mentally get through her blocks and stuff. It's just nice to see it again in this book. Like I said, it's a lot more self-growth and a less lost hate. It was really heartbroken to see Abbie just destroy herself thinking she wasn't good enough for anybody. It's just, in general, it's a beautiful book that I recommend reading. But if you do read it, read the Lycan Luna series, then read the first 2 books ahead of time. But that's my review for that one. It's a good book. It's a very much more of a character building book than anything. But with that being said, I also have started a couple more books. I'm trying to do the 2 at a time thing. It doesn't always work. Right now, I am reading Haunting Adeline, and I'm also reading Bred by a Dragon. If you've listened to one of my past reviews on Bred by the Wolfman, kind of the same series, just this one involves a dragon. So far, it's so good. It's definitely spicy. It's definitely at least a 4.55 star. It goes into quite a bit of depth, but it makes sense because it is a breeding book for basically monsters to have kids with human women. So I like it. I'm excited, and luckily they just make weird books like this to give you a weird palette cleaner. And reading the Haunting Adeline book, getting in the first few bits, I'm like, wow, this is actually surprisingly normal, but at the same time very creepy. I think I've read worser books in the beginning, but like I said, I've only gotten like a couple chapters in, so I can't really identify this as like one of those really dark, scary romances. But in the meantime, while reading and doing these reviews and podcasts, I'm glad that you guys are also liking and listening to me. I also can be listened to on YouTube and many other different platforms. And if you do listen to YouTube, you can like, share, comment, anything you want on that with being respectful, please. I don't handle criticism well. I know I'm an author and I just don't handle it well because then I have self doubt about it. Regardless, I like to hear you guys' feedback. But these podcasts, I do them to get you guys to read more books. And I give you guys ideas. Like right now, I love that people are taking little greenhouses and little sheds and making them in their own personal libraries, or they're just looking at a blank wall and making their own libraries up. I have a close friend who says come spring, she's getting her own little cozy library in her backyard, and I love that for her. Lately, she's been buying my bookmarks left and right so that she can have a whole stockpile of them, she says. I'm also, something I've seen online, but I'm doing it 3D printed style, is the little section signs, like the dark romance section or fantasy section or whatever it is. Just cute little things like that. Eventually, I do think I am going to do some bookends when I get to it. I think it'd be definitely fun. I think it'd be a great thing to add to my online store. My Thistles and Stone store, every time I put things on, I make sure that I also post them to my Thistles and Stones social medias on Instagram and Facebook. So you can always get me there too. Just be like, hey, I also have my, my author pages, Twitter, Aspen M Sage. So you can also follow me there too. A little bit. I don't post a lot. I'm not a big social media person. I do like a lot of videos and stuff like that. I will get back into it because, like I said, Daniel Aries and Pages Immortal King Leo will be going back on shelves as soon as I feel the stories are where they need to be. And then hopefully our third book, what would be Nova Soul Belongs to Pisces. Remember, this series is a 12-book series. It is every zodiac. So it's everything from Aries, Leo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer, Aquarius, Taurus, Libra. You name it, there will be a book on it. Each character has their own individual stories. So I'm excited. I can't wait until you guys, as readers and listeners, will be able to get the Celestial and Demigod series into your hands to listen to and to read. And, thanks for supporting small authors, because authors, they try to create a fantasy world for other people's enjoyments, for them to help people escape. And deep down, it is a task inducing. It's very stressful. But at the same time, it's enjoyable, especially for you readers who actually get in depth and support your favorite authors. I have many authors I love and support, especially Jolie Vines. I can't wait until her Convict book comes out. I am waiting. It's part of the Skeleton Crew series. I love that series. I can't wait to read about Convict. I'm it's coming out in September, so I'm anytime now. I know we just got into August, but I'm is it September yet? I need this book sooner than later. Those are definitely some books that will end up in my own personal library at some point or another, no different than the Akatar books. I am waiting also for that book to come out. I know the author is currently writing drafts to book 6, so that'd be good to have more A Court of Thorns and Roses books. I'm hoping this one's going to be more Azriel and Elaine, because that's exciting to me. But I feel like it might be also about Amryn, so we'll see about that. And I possibly heard that Vanessa Allen is making a 3rd book to go with Lights Out and Caught Up, so I'm excited about that. Again, could be rumors. I'm not 100% sure. I do hope so, because I'm excited to know if there's going to be more characters that I need to know about. her books are really good. I love also the audiobooks to it. I definitely thank you all for listening in. And again, if you ever want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you are more than welcome to. It's Aspen M. Sage. I am just a small town author, indie author. You guys can follow me anyway. Comment me, message me. Just please don't be marketing. I try to be nice when it comes to marketers. I like to do everything on my own. I'm solely independent. I do appreciate you guys though that do reach out and say kind things. But thank you for listening in to another glorious read. And I will catch you next time. Go do something nice for yourself. Go get a book. Maybe build that, little shed or have a room that's kind of collecting clutter and make your own little library. Even a greenhouse, like a little greenhouse, and then put like shelves up and put books in. Beautiful. Thank you for listening in. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go get something special for yourself. And thank you for listening. And I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.